way of coming up with these similes, but this to me feels like, do you know when you play with a toy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a toy that's been released for, say, a Spider-Man movie. And it's a repaint of a toy from a G.I. Joe movie from years ago.
Yeah.
And you play with it and you go, why is Spider-Man in this playset? Like, this is just a repaint of the G.I. Joe playset. It's almost like you're going to get the same feeling watching the Gotham TV series. You're going to be like, this is like a cop drama. Why is Selena Kyle here? Why is Jim Gordon here?
Yeah,
you know?
Isn't it Donald Logue? Isn't that what you call the guy that's playing Bullock?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it's Donald Logue. He talked a wee bit about it as well, and he said that it's got a very sort of noirish Blade Runner kind of future, retro future feel. I don't know. Because that rules out the sort of the realistic. That being said, Logue looks amazing as Bullock, and the guy, his name escapes me, is playing the Penguin. He really looks the part, as a younger Penguin. This guy, he's tall, he's intelligent looking, he's thin. He kind of fits the Riddler role, but he's a little bit young. Which stands to sense. I don't know how.
Do you not think it would have been so much better for this TV series had it been about a young Batman, maybe even before he trains for the League of Shadows? Maybe just like right before he goes off to train with them, as he's trying to hone his skills. He doesn't wear the bat suit, but he still, tries to stalk the streets of Gotham at night, trying to do right, feeling spectacularly.
Yeah, I wanted this to be Smallville with bat ears.
Yes.
That's what I wanted this to be.
That's exactly what I think should have happened.
Although maybe what they're worried about is that because they've done Smallville already, and Arrow kind of is the Batman TV series.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I don't care. I mean, as much as I love Arrow, I would trade it in a heartbeat for
a Batman TV series.
For Oliver Queen to actually be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. Well, you know what? In your mind, it could happen. Do you know, whenever they go back and re-release the 20th anniversary edition DVD of Arrow, I'm sure by that point CGI will have evolved to a point where they can actually digitize bat ears onto him. Like digitally remove the Arrow costume, put on a bat suit.
And when all the mouths are clearly saying Oliver, it'll say
Bruce. Yeah. CGI the mouths.
My brother, who sent me an image last week before we went off air. That image.
I hope that woman recovered.
Yeah. Well, he just sent me a video, and he wrote, "I've just watched it again. Don't watch this on air. You might explode."
Okay.
I'm tempted to watch it.
I think you should.
I'm tempted.
I think you should,
but I don't know. I'm tempted. He's brung him. He's brung him,
and he's dropped him. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
In all fairness, that game last week did look pretty hard.
It did. No.
No.
Don't know what to do.
Connor, mate. Seriously.
Don't know what to do. Right, okay. It was reported that casting was underway for the final lead role in Terminator Genesis. John Boyega was said to be the top choice to play the son of Miles Dyson, the Cyberdyne engineer, largely responsible for the birth of Skynet. But Boyega has also been on the road for J.J. Abrams' Star Wars Episode 7 and could not appear in both. Now, Variety is reporting that the Hunger Games star Deo Okanai has the part. Oddly enough, Okanai was also said to be in the running for Star Wars. Does this mean that Boyega will be heading to a galaxy far, far away? Pure speculation. Miles Dyson's son, really?
Yeah, I know. What is the deal with that? What is the relevance of Miles Dyson's son? I know he was in the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah, because I watched the first series of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I really liked, and then once it ended, I have this awful thing where if a series is terminated prematurely, I kind of go, right, I couldn't be bothered watching the 22 episodes to not get a resolve.
Yeah.
So I never watched the second series, even though I was told it was actually pretty good.
Yeah, apparently the end of the second series ends on a cliffhanger.
It does, yeah.
And literally, it's never going to get resolved.
No. See, bollocks to that. Right, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. Miles Dyson's son.
Yeah, like, even without Miles Dyson in it. Because, like, the guy, what's his name?
Can't remember.
He's in so much stuff as well, too. But, even if it followed his character, like, because in Terminator 2, especially in the Ultimate Edition of Terminator 2, if you've seen the extended cut, like, there's a really interesting story there about the man who builds what will ultimately become the CPU in the Terminator's head, the chip.
Yeah.
What was his mindset? What was he thinking of? And there's a great, great deleted scene from the first Terminator movie where, you know, like Sarah and Kyle have come out of this factory where they've just crushed the Terminator, and they find the hand and they find the broken chip.
Right.
and they go, what about this? What do we do with this? Destroy all evidence, but keep those for me, basically. And as the ambulance drives away, pans up to the building, Cyberdyne Systems on the side of the actual factory.
I think I've seen that clip.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be great to see how Miles Dyson got his hands on those? Like how he's been trying to retroactively build a CPU from that. So in a way, the Terminator creates itself. Mm-hmm. There's a fascinating story there.
Yeah, because it's the ultimate time paradox as well.
Yeah. And now Miles Dyson's son is in the running.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Although we have been told, of course, that this movie is going to kind of tie together all the different continuities that exist in the Terminator universe.
Yeah.
And it's going to revisit scenes and characters and clips that we know already happened and show us things that we didn't see.
Unless Miles Dyson's son carries on his research, but how can he? Because they burnt all of his research and blew up Cyberdyne to destroy it, and it doesn't make any sense. And of course, Miles is such a good death. I mean, his death is so powerful. It's fantastic. It's so good, you know. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I can hold this. Yeah. Okay, right. Planet of the Apes. Are we excited about Dawn of the Planet of the Apes? Yeah. Because everybody's saying how great it is, and I have to be honest, I haven't watched the trailer for it yet. I liked the last one. I liked it. And I thought you said you didn't like the last one. No, I liked it as in... You know, I didn't get excited. You wouldn't turn it off if it was on. Yeah, but I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't say it was like, oh my god, this movie's amazing, I want to watch this all the time. But when I did watch it, I liked it. So, Andy Serkis, who plays anything that's not real on screen. Yeah, Gollum, for those of you who don't know. Yes, and King Kong and Caesar. Wasn't he Caesar in the first one? No, Caesar in the whole of the first one. Oh, was he the whole of the entirety of the movie? Even when he was just a monkey, yeah. Okay. It was Andy Serkis. Right, okay, well, he's back for the second movie now. He's going to be playing Caesar again. Of course, in this one, you know, the monkeys have already started the uprising and there is a war between monkeys and they can talk and they're sentient and whatever. But he has been chatting to Collider.com and he slipped in a little comment that has us all kind of wondering if this links to the original movies. Now, because, of course, you remember in the first, or well, in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, it makes reference to the spaceship that crashes with Charlton Heston, basically. Yeah. It is mentioned a few times in like news broadcasts and stuff and says it's disappeared and all this kind of thing. But Serkis has said that the idea would be that we segue into a third movie, which would then lead us back to the origins and lead us back to the very, very first movie. So we have yet to complete another cycle. This film is about survival. In the next film, the conflict between apes and man intensifies. Now, what we're focusing on here is the bit where he says the very, very first movie. Do you think this means that they're going to go right back to 1968 when Charlton Heston ship Planet of the Apes? Yeah, no, I think it will. Yeah? It'll do us where Batman Begins. I think that would be kind of cool. Yeah, no, I like that. Of course, the new movie comes out July this year. Or no, sorry, July next year. Is it July next year? No, it's this year. Sorry, it's this year. This year. 2014. That's okay. And then the third film is July 2016. Top Gun 2. We mentioned this at the start of the show. Top Gun 2. Top Gun 2 to be subtitled The Sequel. Yeah. Do we really want a sequel? No. Why? It would appear that the only man that really still wants a sequel is movie producer Jerry Bruckheimer, who has said, we have a video on followthenerd.com if you want to check it out, but basically what he says is the concept of the second one, I don't like this at all, is basically our pilots obsolete because of drones, and Tom Cruise is going to show them that they're not obsolete. They're here to stay. And you're talking about Terminator. This is the real story of man versus machine. Yeah, it's just getting to the starting place, he says. Fortunately for Tom, he's very busy, so you have to find a slot he can fit into and make a budget easy that Paramount feels they can make the picture. So it's going to be one of these kind of, at the start of Green Lantern, you know, where he had to outrace the drone. And he ends up blowing it up. And then that's pretty much what we're going to get here, isn't it? For 2 hours. For 2 hours. Yay. I know. All right. Tony Cavell has been cast as Dr. Doom in the Fantastic Four reboot. Is this a good bit of casting? He looks about 12. So no. But they are obviously going for a very young cast in this. And I suppose that's fine. Because, you know, we do know that in the Ultimate Universe in the Marvel Comics, that the Fantastic Four were quite young. And they were all roughly the same age when they had their... Who was it? Somebody chastised me about that. Who chastised me about that? On our... Jay? Paddy? Jay. That basically they were... Paddy. It was Paddy. Yeah. That the characters are, of course, all the same age, so it makes sense that they're all young. I don't know. I prefer the Fantastic Four sort of mid-30s kind of... Yeah, no, I like the idea of Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm, you know, being... a couple who are in the process of kind of getting married, and they're kind of like the father and mother figures of the group. I like the idea of Johnny Storm being younger and the Thing kind of being the older brother kind of character, or even the grandfather character, and the two of them are just always at war with each other. I like that kind of family dynamic, and then if you have them all around the same age, you kind of destroy that a little bit.
Yeah. Chronicle 2 has a writer. Reported last year that Chronicle screenwriter Max Landis had left the 20th Century Fox sequel. Deadline is reporting that the studio has brought in screenwriting newcomer Jack Stanley to tackle the follow-up to the 2012 hit movie directed by, funny enough, the Fantastic Four director Josh Trank. The original film, Michael B. Jordan, Dane DeHaan.
They've all gone off to big things to do with comic books since, because Michael B. Jordan's obviously Human Torch. Dane DeHaan is now Harry Osborn.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. So that there is a Chronicle 2. I don't know. I like Chronicle. I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
but
I think it deserves a sequel.
No, it was a standalone movie. It worked,
especially with the ending as well. Like it's just one of those things.
I'm not really sure it needs to be. Accident Man. Have you ever read Accident Man?
I've never heard of it. I actually thought this was, funnily enough, an accident or a typo, if you will. I thought it was supposed to be Action Man movie, but Accident Man?
Accident Man. Accident Man is a great comic book created by Pat Mills, the guy that basically created 2000 AD.
Right.
And it's based around a character called Mike Fallon, who's
I love this. Think Bruce Wayne if it all went wrong.
Yeah, because he is one of my all-time favorite anti-heroes.
Right.
He is basically... He's rich. He loves the women. He loves the high lifestyle. He walks around in tuxedos. He drives, Maserati cars. But he kills people for a living, and he kills them and makes it look like an accident.
Class.
It's what he does, and he's such a cool, sexy, smart character. He's really, really class. And to be honest with you, he is crying out for a TV series or a movie. He's designed for it, But
kind of like Dexter with superhero kind of way.
Kind of like Dexter meets Bruce Wayne meets, I don't know,
a homicidal maniac.
Yeah. But our very own Amy caught up with Pat Mills at Sci-Fi Weekender last weekend, and the writer revealed his inspiration behind the character of Accident Man Mike Fallon. Gets a bit dark here. The inspiration behind Accident Man came from Tony Skinner, he says. He and I were talking about the character, and he mentioned that he knew someone who bumped off people for a living and made it look like an accident. I think he said the words to the effect of, "You only have to look at the headlines over the last 5 years to know the truth. That's how it's done. So many famous people commit suicide with no warning, have shock heart attacks with no history of heart problems. If the truth was out in the press, it would be boring and impertinent for comics to cover issues like this. As you well know, with Accident Man, we used a lot of real-life situations. We touched on the Marconi murders. As writers, it's our job to bring this to people's attention, so the next time you're reading about an accident, you might think, was that Mike Fallon?" With reference to the possibility, I love this idea, the reference to the possibility of an Accident Man film in the near future, Pat had to say this. It had been optioned a number of times. One of them was with a view to a TV show. One TV executive was optioned. It said, rather than him being a killer, let's make him an insurance investigator because Americans love insurance. Ludicrous thinking. Currently, there is an actor who has put an offer on the table, and we're looking at it. He's a black belt in karate and all the rest of it. He grew up reading Accident Man, so it's very probable that this will happen, and it may happen along that route. Actually, Accident Man's an astonishing character because you'd have thought that this would have been made into a movie because it's so visual, it's so easy to get. In other words, it's a guy who kills people and makes it look like accidents. It's not rocket science. That's from Pat Mills, the creator himself. So, an Accident Man movie. This character was born for the big screen.
Yeah. No, it sounds insane.
It's dark. It's funny. It's nasty.
Yeah,
it's good.
And I like that particularly horrible twist as well. Like famous actors apparently committing suicide and stuff, like falling victim to health problems that were never reported before. You think of things like Philip Seymour Hoffman or Heath Ledger, don't you? Like that really ties into it, and that puts a really disturbing twist on it.
Yeah. It could be so good. So let's keep our fingers crossed about that. Now, he also talks about martial law. Have you ever read the martial law comics?
Right, okay. Me, as a person, you may not know this, listeners, the only comics I ever read were the Beano and the Dandy as a little boy. I'm currently trying to get back into comics at the moment. I'm hoping to get into the Amazing Spider-Man.
Series,
But beyond that, seriously, no, all this is seriously going over my head. I've missed out on so much.
Okay, Martial Law was, again, an incredible anti-hero created as well by Pat Mills and drawn by an artist called Kev O'Neill. Kev O'Neill is such a sick guy, but his art's amazing. And every panel has little jokes. He drew the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen books as well.
Right.
And every panel is just